Welcome back to the Right Man Mindset, the podcast where your co host Mark and I try to figure out what it means to be a guy in the 21st century. I'm Liam.
And I'm Mark. Always a pleasure to be here with you, Liam, and with all of our listeners. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been debated for ages and has definitely seen some shifts: the idea of a gentleman. But we're not just talking about opening doors here. We're looking at how the traditional notions are evolving into something more meaningful in today's world, focusing on respect, empathy, and what some call conscious masculinity.
Exactly, Mark. It feels like the term gentleman can sometimes get stuck in old stereotypes, right? Like, you have to wear a suit and always pay for dinner. And, I've definitely heard guys say things like chivalry is dead and that women killed it, which to me just sounds like someone missing the point entirely.
I couldn't agree more, Liam. That kind of statement often comes from a place of entitlement rather than genuine understanding. I've seen firsthand how the expectations around male behavior have changed over the years. When I was coming up, certain actions were almost mandatory if you wanted to be seen as a respectable man, especially in dating. There was this strong emphasis on traditional chivalry, but I think we're starting to realize that being a true gentleman goes much deeper than those surface level actions.
Definitely. I mean, a modern gentleman knows that opening doors or pulling out chairs are more than just courteous acts. They signal respect, thoughtfulness, and care. But it can't just stop there, can it? It feels performative if there isn't something more substantial behind it.
Precisely. As one of the sources mentioned, the essence of chivalry demands more than actions. It's about listening intently, valuing her opinions, and cherishing mutual aspirations. That's where the focus shifts from mere etiquette to genuine respect and empathy. It's about seeing the other person as an equal and treating them with the consideration they deserve.
That really resonates with me. I think in my generation, there's a growing understanding that being a man isn't about being dominant or always being in control. It's more about partnership and mutual respect. I think that's what conscious masculinity is trying to address, right? Being aware of societal expectations around men and actively choosing to behave in ways that are respectful and empathetic.
Absolutely. It's about moving beyond the outdated idea that men have to be stoic and unemotional. True chivalry shines when you show the courage to discuss emotions and dreams, creating a partnership based on trust. That level of vulnerability and open communication is, in my opinion, a far more significant indicator of a gentleman than simply picking up the bill.
Speaking of which, the topic of who pays on a date always seems to spark debate. One of our sources has a pretty strong opinion on this, stating, as a man, you pay for the bill, and if you cannot, you should not be asking her out. It's a very traditional viewpoint.
It is, and it reflects a certain era and set of expectations. While I understand the sentiment behind it, a desire to provide and care for your date, I think in today's world, relationships are more egalitarian. Expecting a man to always pay can put undue pressure and create an uneven dynamic. I believe the focus should be on mutual respect and open communication about finances, just like any other aspect of the relationship.
I agree. I think it's more gentlemanly to be upfront and honest about finances and to be open to splitting costs or taking turns, rather than adhering to a rigid, potentially outdated rule. The source also mentions seeing some of the most disgusting behavior from men and suggests that disrespect from women might be a consequence. While I don't think it's a direct cause and effect situation, it does highlight the importance of basic respectful behavior.
Absolutely. And being a gentleman isn't just about romantic relationships. Another source points out that a truly admirable man is a gentleman to all who can open doors, who can say please and thank you when walking with a child or a woman or an elderly person. It's about having a fundamental level of respect and consideration for everyone you encounter.
That's so true. It's about the small, everyday interactions. The source even mentions things like when walking with a child or a woman or an elderly person can walk on the street side of the sidewalk. And how when going up an escalator, a man who stands behind his family, when going down an escalator, he stands in front of his family. These are subtle ways of showing care and being protective.
This brings us to an interesting point. A gentleman is both a protector and a servant. Some might be surprised by this duality, but true gentlemanly qualities require both strength and humility. As one perspective puts it, a gentleman must protect. He must be both a savage and a servant. The perfect gentleman balances these traits equally. Today, this idea can be interpreted in various ways, shaping modern views on masculinity, chivalry, and leadership.
Yeah, the savage and servant concept is definitely something to unpack. I think the protector aspect in modern terms isn't necessarily about physical dominance, but more about being supportive, standing up for what's right, and ensuring the emotional and mental well-being of those around you. And the servant part can be seen as being willing to contribute, to be helpful, and to prioritize the needs of the relationship or the people you care about. Precisely. It's about being strong and assertive when necessary, but also being humble and willing to put others first. It's a balance, as the source suggests. It's not about one extreme or the other. So, when we talk about redefining the modern gentleman beyond just chivalry, it really comes down to these core values: respect for all individuals, empathy towards their experiences, and a conscious effort to embody a positive and supportive form of masculinity. It's less about a rigid set of rules and more about a way of being in the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Liam. It's about evolving beyond outdated expectations and embracing a more holistic and meaningful understanding of what it means to be a gentleman in the 21st century. It's a continuous process of learning and adapting, always striving to treat others with kindness and respect.
That's all the time we have for today's episode of The Right Man Mindset. Mark, always an insightful conversation.
My pleasure, Liam, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. If you enjoyed this discussion, please like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes where Liam and I continue to explore what it means to be a modern man.
And be sure to check out the links in the description below for any products or services we might mention in future episodes.